What's up, true believers, and welcome to episode 21 of Marvel Mondays Initiative here on the Penultimate Conquest. Today's topic is our discussion of the Avengers. Yes, we're here as part of our
Assemble.
and Rewind series. That's right, Christian. We will assemble. We have assembled right here. But before we get into that discussion, we got a little housekeeping to throw your way. If you're watching this on YouTube, please consider subscribing to our channel here at the Penultimate Conquest, and don't forget to hit that bell to stay notified whenever we drop new videos. Also, please consider subscribing to us on Twitch at the Penultimate Conquest, because every month, Jeffrey Bezos, when he's not flying into space and, using late stage capitalism to, oppress workers, he gives you a free sub every month. So consider subscribing, using that money to go to us. We're small. We could use it, really. Please and thank you. And so please subscribe so you get notifications for all of our lovely shows, such as the Penultimate Game Show, the Cross Media Show, Anime Nation, and this one, MCU in Review. If you can't give us to us, that's totally fine. Just come watch us. Just come hang out with us. Be in the chat. Let us know how you're doing. How was your day? Are you enjoying the Olympics? Is your country doing well? I hope so. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Eric Inn, your friendly neighborhood host for the evening. And alongside me today, I have assembled a great team with me. First up, our Nick Fury himself, Mr. Ruben Guerrero. Ruben, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm great.
I also want to say,
Ruben.
You said MCU in review. This is Marvel Mondays Initiative.
Did I say that?
I'm
so excited. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Marvel Mondays Initiative.
I thought MCU review was part of the Marvel Mondays Initiative.
No,
like
but
the encompassing umbrella.
Right. You're right.
We got a lot of phases here on this show.
Oh,
and
yeah.
we're running out. Some would say he's the Hawkeye of movies. Others could say he's the Thor of cinema. Who knows? I just thought of this 5 seconds ago. Either way, he's blonde, like most of the Avengers. So welcome to the show, Cristian. Let's see us. Cristian, how are you?
First of all, if I'm anyone, I'm Ant-Man. And I guess if I am blonde, I want to choose Yelena. I'm Yelena. Hi, I'm Florence Pugh now.
Hi, Florence Pugh. How you doing?
Doing well. I'm so cool. I'm Florence Pugh. Eric, please grab
Is
the
she
mic.
English?
Yeah, she's English.
Is English, yes.
I did not know that.
I'm really hyper right now. I'm very excited to talk about this movie because also we're at the end of phase 1. So like the rest going forward, other than like a few stumbles, it's going to be banger after banger after banger. And then we get to Guardians too. So who knows? Anyway, a little stream and podcast update for you guys. So yesterday we had a 12-hour stream to celebrate the 1-year anniversary here on Penultimate Conquest. Yay! We did it. Also, I forgot to mention, Cristian is the 3-stroke king. Was that what it was?
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, 3-stroke king, baby.
3-stroke king.
Don't
right
you
there.
forget it.
Cristian won in Mario Golf yesterday, so it's very exciting. Ruben lost. That's the important thing, boys and girls. Remember that. Ruben lost.
I don't think that title refers to golf.
What else would it refer to?
Anyway, for those who came, watched, was in the chat, talked to us, thank you so much for showing up. Thank you for supporting us this past year. And if you do not get to watch any of the show, the whole 12 hours, if you have nothing to do one day and you just want to see a bunch of weirdos just randomly talk about things, whatnot, like is a Pop-Tart a sandwich? It's not. Or is a ravioli a sandwich? I got, ugh. I thought about that today. I was thinking today, like, oh my God, ravioli a sandwich. There's no way. Either way, I digress. It's all going to be on YouTube, our YouTube channel soon, so you can check it out. Tessa is going to be continuing her stream of Resident Evil Village tonight at around 8 p.m. Central Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So there's that. It's 6 p.m. Pacific Time, for those who don't know. And this week, Ruben will be getting back into the cockpit as he does some more Flight Simulator. He's going to fly from Florida to Cuba. Is that right?
So I'm thinking
that was what I did yesterday.
Yeah, I'm thinking of doing that, or I might fly to my Yeah, where I'm from, the Dominican Republic. We'll see.
A long flight.
You're from the Dominican Republic?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Oh, the more you know.
More I know.
Is this why you liked In the Heights?
Well, no. Well, yes and no. I liked In the Heights because In the Heights reflected on my community very,
Oh,
in
that's right.
in my eyes, perfectly, but like also not perfectly. But that's a whole other conversation.
Were you born in the Dominican Republic?
No, I'm born
Okay.
here.
Okay, gotcha.
Hmm.
I didn't know. Learn something new every day.
Yeah.
So, with the pleasantries out the way, let's get into some Marvel news for the week. And let's get off with the big one. Let's get off. I can't even think
Let's
today.
let's get off. I'm the three-stroke king.
The biggest news of this past week, Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney. Big deal. Apparently, very, very not cool with the dual release of Black Widow in theaters and Disney Plus, because their contract entitled her to, a percentage of the profits. And of course, since there was less people to go to the box office, less money, so she missed out on some stuff. Let's just go around the table. How do you think about this, Ruben? What do you think about this whole ordeal?
Man, after watching this movie today, like they fucked Scarlett Johansson so hard, and it's just like not even cool. Just give her the money. And like, I feel bad for Feige because like he wants to do the right thing, but like Disney's like, no, we don't owe her anything. It's just I'm ashamed.
You're ashamed,
I'm ashamed of Disney.
Christian. What about you?
This is funny because when the news first broke initially, I was like, I don't care. A rich celebrity trying to sue Disney because she wants more money. Like this happens from time to time. Like I'm not gonna follow this. But when Disney clapped back and they were like, "Oh, whoa, there he is."
Little freeze.
What when when Disney was like, "Yeah, she's just not concerned about the pandemic at all." And then the lawyer was like, "What are you talking about? Like you're in breach of contract here. Like you're just like trying to like defame and like slander. I forget what the actual word is in legal terms. Attack Scarlett Johansson's character and claiming that she just didn't care about the pandemic was like totally uncalled for, in my opinion. And it's like, all right, let's take down Disney. And the fact that she is like inspiring other celebrities to do like I think it was
Emma Stone.
Emma Stone, yeah, for Cruella, inspiring her to kind of look at her options for legal action. I think it's very inspiring and like very cool thing to finally attack the conglomerate that is Disney. Like, so I'm all for it.
Yeah, Ruben, is everything all right? I think I'm a little delayed.
You are a little delayed, camera
Yeah.
wise. Turn off your camera and try turning it back
Okay, all right.
on. I think.
Okay, that's better.
Okay, go
Yep.
So here's my stance on this. I think that, if she had a contract to, get portion of the profits from box office receipts, Disney should, respect that contract. And, the reports coming out that Scarlett Johansson's team tried to get in touch with Disney throughout the whole time, like, hey, we know things are about to happen. Can we renegotiate this contract, please? And apparently Disney just never got back to him. Really? So it's tough because if they're doing this with the big time celebrities like this, they're definitely doing it with, you know, other workers probably,
ahead. All right.
I believe.
Yeah.
And then, like this whole not millennial, this millionaire versus billionaire stuff I saw, like this just boils down to like this worker had a contract. She was not paid for the thing that she did. And that's shitty. I don't think this would have happened if this was like RDJ, Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth. They would have got paid
Yeah.
easily. I think like it's terrible. Like I'm glad that so many um, so many websites, journalists, actors, and stuff are writing letters to Disney like, hey, it's fucked up what you're doing, and it absolutely is fucked up. Like I know I love Disney. Like it's pretty clear I love Disney. But yeah, when they do something shitty like this, yes, please bring them down. Like make them pay a pretty penny for this because Scarlett Johansson did a lot of work. It's not her fault all this stuff happened, but like she did the work, and if you had a contract to do this, she is owed that. So pay her.
Yeah.
And like Emma Stone, if she wants to do that too, yeah, absolutely go for it. I saw that today, I think it was, The Rock is not looking to do any sort of legal action against Disney for Jungle Cruise.
Right. Well,
And which I'm worried this is. Oh, I'm sorry.
no, I think it's getting a little muddy with Emma Stone because like Emma Stone's contract could be like completely different
Yeah.
from what Scarlett Johansson's contract is, because that we don't expect like a whole series to come out of
Yeah.
what was it? What was it? Cruella? But
Mhm.
like, yeah, it's just Scarlett Johansson's movie contract is just like way different from Emma Stone's, which you know,
Are we sure though? I mean, actors normally get a percentage of profits for most major blockbusters,
right, right,
especially
right,
Disney movies.
right. But I don't think it's like to the extent of what Scarlett's owed. Like I think Scarlett has worked her way through multiple contracts throughout her stint in the Marvel stuff. Give me 1 second. Hold on, my door's open. I'll be right back.
To,
Um,
to to
Go
Ruben's
ahead, Christian.
credit, I'm not sure what the percentages are or how much money Cruella would have made, so I can't speak to anything like numbers wise what the difference would have been. But I know that Scarlett Johansson would like was projected to lose like upwards of $50 million just for Disney breaching this contract. And like Scarlett Johansson aside, whatever you want to say about her person, right? Like at the end of the day, Disney breached a contract and they took advantage of the pandemic to go out of their way, right? And make money in their own pocket and screw over Scarlett Johansson, and then go back and try to attack her for trying to defend herself.
Yeah,
And that's just
that's
not
awful.
okay.
Yeah, it's just like, oh yeah, she didn't care about the pandemic. That's awful. Like it's terrible. Like I said, go back to the Rock thing, where I don't know how this is going to be viewed as. People are going to like, oh look, the Rock was okay with it. Why are Scarlett Johansson and Emma Stone not cool with this? And it's just like I'm worried. Like this just paints like you're right. Whatever you think about Scarlett Johansson, I know a lot of people don't like her for some reason. I mean, it's just uh, she did the work. Like pay
Mhm.
her. Like that's what she did. She had this movie that should have come out years ago. And like she put in the work for it. All these people in the movie put in a lot of work, and um they deserve to get paid for this.
I wish The Rock could have been an ally. Like he
Yeah.
could have been an ally in this situation, choosing not to. It's a little
Yeah.
fucked up.
And so I just I and apparently Feige's pissed.
Oh yeah,
Feige is absolutely pissed at Disney for this.
because like I
So
guess they didn't really even talk to him.
yeah, like, and a lot of insiders are blaming the current CEO, Bob Chapek, for all this whole ordeal. I don't like him really. I don't know his vibe. I don't like his vibe at all.
Mm.
Like Bob Iger was like, I don't
Yeah,
know. I know these are CEOs we're talking about here, but like Bob Iger gave off like this. Okay, he's kind of caring. Okay, I'll listen when he says. And Bob Chapek just seems like just plain old. I'm the CEO. Ha 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 ha.
He looks like a
So
supervillain.
right,
there's
and it's yeah.
there's an article from the Wrap called "How the Bob Iger dash Bob Chapek rift led to the ScarJo blunder." I'm gonna read that after.
Uh,
Very
yeah,
interesting.
I'm seeing. I'm looking at that too. Yeah, because Bob Chapek used to be with theme parks. He used to be in charge of all the theme parks, and that's just like that's a whole different
Yeah,
like beast of the
Yeah,
Disney property, like dealing with theme parks and actually dealing with the entertainment side of it. So also I wish Robert Downey Jr., Chris Hemsworth would come to Scarlett Johansson's aid here. Like that'd be neat. That'd be cool. Shouldn't
Chris
have to do all
Evans,
this.
if anybody.
Yeah, she shouldn't have to do all this herself. It's pretty bad. Like I said, I know with multiverse there's a chance that Scarlett Johansson would come back, but I don't see her coming back,
Not
especially after
after
this.
this.
Not
Yeah.
oh
after
no,
this. Like
oh
it's
no.
it's it's awful. I hope Scarlett. I hope you get paid. I know you're watching this at home. I hope you get paid. I hope you get as a worker. I hope you get what you're owed for doing your job. And I hope everyone else at Disney is paid fairly. But I don't know all that stuff. All right. Enough Black Widow. It's time to get in some what if news, guys. And we got quite a few things here. So starting off, some journalists and insiders have seen the first 3 episodes of What If, and people are calling it Marvel's Twilight Zone, which is really neat. I like that comparison. Like Twilight Zone, obviously, these are just little stories that they tell. And I
Right.
think that could be really cool for What If, just tell a cool story. Obviously, what if, T'Challa was picked up by the Ravagers? Like tell me that story. That'd be cool. So I think that's neat. Also, the executive producer did an interview with comicbook.com, and here's some stuff he had to say about it. Season 1 of What If will be 9 episodes, not 10, apparently due to COVID reasons. And the 10th episode will go into season 2.
Okay.
So 9 episodes here. Apparently, Captain Carter is going to have a big role in the season, and going to link the seasons probably together. So cool. Like Captain, I haven't seen Captain Carter yet. Haley Atwell, like her. They also talked about in the interview that Chadwick Boseman will be in 4 episodes of What If, and he will be playing 4 different variations of T'Challa. So I don't think I'm emotionally ready for that yet, but talked about that. A couple of casting stuff. Dave Bautista on Twitter said he was not even asked to be the voice of Drax in What If, which is okay. I don't know why you wouldn't get him. He's great. He's literally what makes Drax.
Right, but
So-
also he's like been really shitting on Disney. Well,
As he
Marvel.
should.
Is he wrong for doing?
No, he's not wrong, but like at the same time, you can't like expect to be asked to come on the show if you're.
Well, I mean, like he talked about, I know with the whole James Gunn stuff, he was very upset with Disney,
Yeah.
like how they handled the whole thing with James Gunn.
Right.
And it's like if James Gunn's script's not even used for Volume 3, I'm not even going to be in it.
Right.
Like cast somebody else.
Well, I was talking
Um,
mostly more along the lines of like what they've done with the Drax character.
Yeah, I mean, with such a big epic tale we have of this, obviously some characters going to be left behind the dust a little bit. I would like to see all the Drax stuff we can, because he's great. Like Dave Bautista. Dave Bautista for me is the best wrestler turned actor just ever. I
Agreed.
don't think anyone's come even close to him.
Yeah.
Like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Dwayne Johnson is very charismatic dude. I don't think he's that great. John Cena is just fun to watch.
The Rock
I like
just plays
watching
The
John
Rock.
Cena do his thing, but like Dave Bautista, genuinely, I think is a really good actor. Like,
John Cena and Dwayne Johnson could never do Blade Runner 2049 the way Dave Bautista did.
Yeah, or beat the shit out of James Bond like Dave Bautista did.
Or kill a
So-
bunch of zombies like Dave Bautista.
Dave
did.
Bautista did, yeah. And he's gonna be in Dune. I mean, you don't say that's
Like
wild.
Dave Bautista did.
Yeah. So that's a bummer that he's in it. Also, Tom Holland will not be voicing Peter Parker in What If. So
Well, that's probably a Sony thing.
I don't know. Like I said, so
True.
like I think Chris Hemsworth is voicing Thor. I think he's like the actually only Avenger that's voicing
Right.
his character. So yeah, What If next week? Very excited. Things are really cool. And finally, I know we are an MC.
Did we? We're already moving to Venom.
Yes.
Oh, I gave it away.
So yes, thanks. All right, here we go. So I know this is the MCU in review, but thanks to these two corporations not being really upfront and honest whether or not these two things are connected. And you know what? It's fun. It's a Marvel thing. I'm gonna throw it in here. Yesterday, I think it was yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. The Venom 2 Venom Let There Be Carnage, the second trailer came out, and ooh,
I haven't seen it.
it's
A movie.
it's I'm being dramatic here. It's an okay trailer. Like it's fine, really. It's just Venom and Carnage.
Are they confirming a connection between the MCU or?
I figured it's a Marvel thing. I'm gonna throw it in here.
Okay. All right.
So it's not a great trailer.
The way you started that off.
Well, like I said, I start off because yeah, this is in the MCU. No, this is in the MCU. Stuff like that. It's so weird. So I figured just throw it about this. Yeah, Venom 2. it's a thing. I think Carnage looks good. I really do. Like, they actually in the trailer let him be Carnage. Like, there's a moment where like there's a security guard and Carnage just slams his throat down the security guard's tongue down the security guard's throat and like chokes him out. I was like, that is a very Carnage thing to do. That's very crazy. That's very crazy. That's the best I've come up with.
The question is does somebody say "Let there be carnage"?
I know Woody Harrelson in the trailer says Carnage. He says the word Carnage.
Okay.
I don't think Woody Harrelson was right for
God.
this. Like, it's. I will say the hair looks better than at the end of Venom when he had like that super crazy ridiculous wig on. But apparently in this one, you know, he bites Eddie Brock and that's how he gets the symbiote. So that's a thing. But yeah. So here's my thing. For everyone that says, you know, it's really bad that Disney has, you know, like the monopoly on superhero stuff. Like Disney's getting all this stuff. I mean, you got non-Disney stuff like this and it looks like that. So obviously, you
Yeah.
know, like
So here's my issue with, because you're right. Like Disney having a monopoly on superhero stuff is like objectively bad for like diversity and creativity. Like
Yeah.
that's agreed. However, I hate that the trend to like we have to position ourselves to be like we're not Marvel, and how do we do that? We have to make stuff that's edgy and gritty and cool. But like it's just corny the way they do it. Like having the character say the word carnage is just corny. And like let's have it be ultra violent because I mean I get it, it's carnage, so that like that makes sense. But
I think it's PG-13. I think it's PG-13 the movie is, but I really would have liked rated R. Like, I want Carnage to just fucking rip people open. Because that makes sense. Because after seeing this, though, I'm like, Tom Holland's supposed to fight that? Oh my god, that's terrifying. He may actually crap his pants looking at Carnage.
Yeah.
Oh, some tea went down my shirt. But yeah, it's oh, Andy Serkis, I love you. You're great. You're fantastic. You have given me the best performance in any movie of the past 10 years for me personally. But this does not look good. I know it's a trailer. I know it's 2.5 minutes. The movie could be good.
No, it's representative of the movie. You can already see like the writing just looks so bad, and it's just like if you get Sony like shooing in whatever stuff they want to do for their own like Sony Marvel verse that they're trying to do. That where's Mobius? I have no clue.
Yeah.
Let's
see.
now.
Who wrote this movie? Tom Hardy had some say. Tom Hardy helped write it, and Kelly Marcel. They did. There's some other stuff they did. They did the screenplay for Venom. They did the screenplay for 50 Shades of Grey. Terra Nova. They were a script editor on Bronson. Bronson's actually a good movie.
Bronson's good. Good.
Story on Cruella.
Everything you're crediting them doesn't give me any hope for this movie.
This movie's gonna make a lot because you know it's Venom.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I hope it doesn't.
Of the audience, don't go watch this movie. If not for you, for me, please. Don't go watch this movie.
Guys, it's gonna make a lot of money. It's gonna make a lot of money.
Watch this movie.
Not if this Delta variant keeps going around and shuts everything down.
The international audiences love Venom. Absolutely.
Oh, you're right. You're so right.
Why do you think like in 2018 they did like the first reveal in Brazil? Like Venom internationally is super popular.
Yeah, but you know what would be even better? Watching Venom on screen. Watching Venom fight Spider-Man, you know?
Yeah, that'd be cool, but we don't have that.
Not this version of Venom. I would not like that.
No,
I don't.
Yeah, nobody wants
really like
Tom
this Venom.
Hardy
Like in the trailer, he just says all the stupidest stuff, and I'm like, ugh.
The first trailer of this movie they put out was just Venom cooking while Tom Hardy was sitting on his ass reading a newspaper. What? Why?
Oh, I think we've talked enough about Venom.
Don't go watch this movie.
Either way.
Don't go watch
Either way, I'm going to see this movie.
No, you're not. You're not going to see this movie.
Power to you, Eric. You can let me know how it is.
Yeah, I will let you guys know.
You will not see this movie, Eric.
Yeah, it's
you will
Carnage.
Be banned from the show if you are.
Carnage. All right. Anyway, let's get to it, guys. So, the MCU started in 2008 with Iron Man. And in 2010, we found out they were going to do an Avengers movie. Well, a little bit earlier than that. Because I remember the Comic-Con for 2010, they unveiled like the whole cast. Like the Hall H panel was the whole cast lined up. And, this thing at this time, it was like, could they do it? Like, could they put all these characters on screen? And you know what? They did it.
They fucking did it.
They fucking did it. But let's go over some box office numbers first. So, The Avengers, Marvel's The Avengers, Avengers Assemble in Europe, however you want to call this movie, debuted on May 4th, 2012, with a budget of $220 million, with a box office total of $1.52 billion.
What was the budget again? I'm sorry.
220.
Million?
$220 million.
Oh my god.
And this guy looking at the dock.
I'm not.
This budget 1.5, I'm rounding it up to 2. $1.52 billion. So at the time, the domestic opening for this movie was $207 million, and it was the highest opening weekend ever. It beat Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, which was the biggest one the year before. But like $40 million is wild. Like, they did it. Like, they put all of these heroes on screen together, and we'll find out how the other hosts feel, but I feel it worked. They did it. Like, it's the end of phase 1. You brought the team together.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you guys to describe to me your Avengers experience in the theater that night. So, Ruben, I'm going to start with... you know what, Christian? I started with Ruben last time. Christian, I'm going to start with you this time.
Okay. Oh, thank God.
Describe to me your Avengers theater experience.
Dude, this is back in the day when midnight showings were still a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And like it's with phase 1 Marvel, like my friends and I started doing this thing where we'd go to the Maya cinemas. There's a new cinema in Bakersfield that opened up, one of the nicest cinemas there at the time. And we would go to these midnight premieres, and it was like always an epic experience. So after Captain America, First Avenger, after that came out, I remember thinking like, oh my God, we're actually gonna get these characters together in a single movie. I can't believe it. I didn't want to believe it, but I knew it was happening. So like the anticipation in that theater, you could feel it, dude. Everyone was so giddy and excited, and the lights came down. Everyone was clapping. They almost didn't let us into the theater because something happened, so we had to move to a different theater, but it had a bigger screen, so that was cool. Had my popcorn, my soda, and I'm at the time it was 2 hours and 20 minutes of like excellence. In hindsight, is it a great movie? Yes. Is it perfect? No. But it's still like they did it. They pulled it off and like created one of the most successful franchises ever. Amazing.
It was some S tier movie theater snacks,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So Ruben, describe to me your 2012 Avengers experience.
I would if I could, if I remembered.
You don't remember it?
Wow.
I don't remember. I'm gonna assume that 2012 I had graduated high school already, so I was in my freshman year of college, and I'm going to assume that I went to the theaters with my friends and we watched this opening night, but I don't remember. Like I'm drawing a blank.
All right. Let me paint a picture for you guys. So it's 2012. I was, let's see, what was I? I think it was a junior in college. Yeah. So me and a bunch of the theater, when I was in the theater school, a bunch of us like got together and like, all right, we're gonna get our tickets and we're gonna go see Avengers. And I remember it was palpable. Oh my goodness, you could just feel it. And I knew that I didn't know there was any type of like cosplay contest they had going on, but I was gonna go anyway. I didn't know this at the time, so let me pull up the picture here.
Oh no.
Oh, let's see it.
So this was obviously, I did my best David Hasselhoff, Nick Fury.
Look at you.
I was in my college apartment right there with
Oh
my
man.
iPhone 4 and I still have this leather coat in my closet right now. I bought like these boots. Like, I bought all this stuff on Amazon, and I made the stupid mistake. Like, I didn't know how I never worn an eye patch before, so I kept my eye closed behind it the whole time. I didn't know what to do. So when I got there, like everyone was like, they had a Thor, they had some people dressed up, like someone had like homemade Captain America suits and stuff. Obviously, some people like painted themselves green and everything. And so I walked up in there. Apparently, there was a contest, and they gave, I think, like 3 winners some Avengers pins and a poster, and I won. I was one of the 3 winners. So I don't know where my Avengers pin is now, but I still have my poster in my closet. But no, it was insane. It was just a bunch of nerds sitting in a theater. I remember we had these 2 people behind us who were talking about who our favorite Marvel vs. Capcom fighters were. It was great. And then, we're getting all excited. The trailers are starting. People are still talking a little bit, but once that movie started, just pin drop you could hear.
Yeah.
And then the 2 guys behind us started like snickering a little bit. And then I remember one of my friends at the time, Daniel, was turning around like, y'all need to shut up right now.
Wow.
And so they shut up. Like, we didn't hear them for the rest of the movie. And just everyone was so excited. And I'll get to the hype. I'll just talk about it right now. When Hulk, I'm sorry, what?
I just wanted to add, like, just to add to your experience as well. Like, May 2012 was the month when I was graduating high school. I was doing a lot of events. So to have like this big event like in my life, like marquee when I'm graduating high school, just
Mm,
added, I think, to the experience altogether. Because like there was a lot of us like together in the theater, like
mm.
all of us graduating, going to see the Avengers together. Like it was a very cool experience.
So like before this movie, the hypest moment I've ever seen in the theater was in Deathly Hallows Part 2 when McGonagall, takes over the Great Hall again. And
Spoilers.
like people were hyped for that, but let me tell you, when Bruce hulked out and punched the dragon, you could hear it start. Everyone was like losing their minds, and then the crescendo of the music comes on, and then the Hulk roar, and then the circle shot. Everyone in the theater got up and cheered. It is still the hypest moment I've ever been in a theater. Everyone stood up and did like a standing ovation, and people were screaming their butts off because they finally did it. I'm just getting goosebumps right now thinking about it. But just an amazing experience in the theater. Like everyone, like all the jokes were landing, all the very dramatic moments were hitting. Um, so yeah, it's still my favorite theater going experience. So Christian, you brought up a good point there. So Ruben, I'm gonna start with you. Does the Avengers hold up?
Absolutely. Like
Absolutely.
for me, I just recently watched it right before the show, and there were some lines that were like weirdly worded. Like I have here, let's see. You are all of you beneath me. Like that's a line that Loki says, and I'm like, why didn't you just say you all are beneath me? Like it's small nitpicky stuff, but like this movie is fucking fantastic. And again, this is one of the movies where I'm like, there's way too much stuff happening in this movie. You get the Avengers fighting each other, kind of, sort of, not really. Like the first introduction fight where everybody's like, "You're not the fucking boss of me." Um, and then you get them trying to capture Loki, and then you get an alien invasion on top of that. Get the fuck out of here! This fucking movie is insane.
Oh, okay, that was a good thing. You're saying when there's a lot going on, that was a bad thing. But
Right, because you remember if we had when we had talked about Iron Man, where we were like, "There's way too much stuff happening in this movie, but it's all good," you know. Like
mm,
that sums up the Paramount movies as a whole. Like they have way too much stuff going on, but in a good way, you know?
can I bounce off of Ruben real quick?
Go right
Of
ahead.
Because
course.
yeah, it brings up something that I had written down in my notes. Like the one note that I made was that Avengers, like, thank God we finally moved past Paramount after this, because they specifically feel so different. And I think in the Avengers, I kind of nailed it. Is that the lens that they have is very not superhero centric all the time. It's more like focused on like the agency, especially in Avengers. It's like we're getting the lens of Shield. And so I asked on Twitter here from the Penultimates Twitter, is Avengers a good movie? Because I kind of forgot that the opening 40 minutes, like the pacing is just a little off, and the whole Shield stuff just doesn't work that well to me as like a cold opening. Once you start moving past that and getting into like the actual Avengers, uh, learning about what their mission is, and then meeting each other is when the movie I think finally starts to click together. Just doesn't happen for a while. After that, it's like let's go, baby. I'm along for the ride.
Yeah, I feel as though I enjoyed every time. Like you're right, the first 40 minutes, you know, Loki coming into the Shield base, immediately taking Hawkeye out of the picture, which, you know, Hawkeye definitely got, you know, put on the bench for this movie.
Yeah.
Like it's just what's going to happen. Someone's going to get the lesser part. That's what's going to happen. It's the first time we got this movie like this, someone was going to get left out, and it was Hawkeye. Let's be real.
Mm.
So I just remember one how violent it got when Loki takes that thing and shoves it in the dude's eye. I was like, oh my god.
Super
Also,
grody.
I remember every time like one of the Avengers would come out, you know, like when they showed Tony, when the first shot of Tony fixing the pipes under the water and him going to Stark Tower, everyone was very happy and stuff. And you know, when Captain America, you show Captain America punching the punching bag, everyone's getting really super excited. When Thor, even though not many people like we've discussed here, the first Thor movie, but when he jumped on top of the Quinjet, roar from the crowd. Everyone was excited to see Thor. Like the line was like, "What are you afraid of a little lightning?" I'm not fond of what follows. And then Thor comes down. It was so good.
And then
Lots of
Chris Evans right after, he's like, "There's only one God, ma'am,"
Yeah.
and he doesn't dress like that.
you know. I think it was so good, and also like the cool opening Black Widow thing, where it's like, "Oh, fine, cool, yeah." She's in this chair, it's like, "Hold on, this dude's giving me everything." It's like, I'm not doing that. And she just beats their ass. And then we get our first shot of Mark Ruffalo's Hulk.
Yep.
Go ahead, Christian.
Since you brought up Black Widow, I'm actually kind of glad that we were able to watch Black Widow for MCU in review or MCU, not MCU review,
Rewind.
MCU Rewind before we did Avengers, because I think a lot of what's in Avengers really like flushes out like Nat's characters with the lens, like with the knowledge that we have of Black Widow after,
Right.
like
Yeah.
just getting stuff about Budapest and like Dreykov's daughter like in there. Like I know what they're talking about now, and I kind of I feel closer to that character. So yeah.
I
Yeah, for the
also,
longest time, I thought that Dreykov was her dad. Was that Dreykov's daughter? I'm like, is that Natasha's dad in this movie or what? Ruben, you were gonna say something.
yeah, I was just gonna say I had a newfound appreciation for Black Widow in this movie. Like
Mm.
all the shit that she does, like just kicking ass and taking names. Like
Mhm.
I was all here for it.
And I love the conversation between her and Bruce. Like it was
Oh,
really good. And like when he does like stop lying to me, she just pulls the gun out. He's like, I'm
Mm.
sorry. I just wanted to see how you'd react. I wanted to see what you do. I'm so sorry. Like,
yeah.
oh, look at Bruce being a jokester. But no, I think we're gonna get to obviously I have a thing where we're gonna discuss Josh Whedon here in a second. But I thought, you know, taking him out of the equation for this, just the movie. I thought like there were a lot of the jokes landed. Like a
Yeah.
lot of them, you know, like when they're up in the penthouse, Tony was like with Pepper was talking about the lease, like, call your
12%.
mom, can you bunk over? And the stuff like little bits of information like that were great. I love that Tony has a Black Sabbath shirt on in this movie. That was really nice. But yeah, and just also the line of it, like the first act that gets me is like right after Cap fights Loki, right before it, and the old guy stands up and he's like, I'm not gonna bow to a man like you. And he's like, there
Yeah.
are no men like me. He's like, there are always men like you.
I was just
Oh, fantastic line.
I wrote down. I was like, is this the old man talking about Hitler? Like,
Oh, absolutely. Like, I mean, they
right,
were
right, of course, right. But it's just like it was weird to see a Hitler reference in a Marvel movie.
I mean,
I mean, he was in Captain America.
This is also true.
Other times.
Eric, you brought up a great point about Joss Whedon. Like, obviously he's a shitty dude from like what we learned, you know, later down the few years. But what he does do very well, is write like fantastic character moments, and like the dialogue between these characters is like some of the best that they've ever been. Like, I forget how good it is, and I'm thinking of just like small stuff like Chris Evans or Cap, like giving $10 to Nick Fury because he's surprised that the Quinjet is or the boat is actually the jet,
Yeah.
right? And then we're getting the introduction of Bruce and Tony together, and they're like they're having like intellectual back and forth that they're like keeping up, and Tony's like, finally someone who speaks English. And but then you also get like the introductions of Tony is trying to make Bruce better by accepting who he is on the inside. It's a lot of great stuff.
Like, it's fantastic. I will say, I'm gonna get this right out of the way. This is the worst Captain America suit in the MCU, and it's not
Oh my
even
God,
close.
Eric! It's like you're reading my mind.
It's not even close. Like, I think when he doesn't have the weird headpiece on, it's fine.
No.
It's okay. Like in the end of the fight, when like it's just when he's helping all the people out at the end in the building, and he doesn't have the headpiece on, and Beth, I think Ashley Johnson's character's name was in this. Beth, when she looks outside, she sees Captain America standing all stoic, looking around, so you can help. I'm like, this is fine. That looks good. But when he's got the head thing on,
It's so stupid.
this is the worst. Like
Yeah.
his chin looks all weird, and it's just, I hate this outfit so much.
Yeah.
I don't think
Um,
any Captain America suit should have the helmet. Chris Evans should just be helmetless all the time.
Sorry, Colson. No,
Uh,
it depends. I like the helmet in
Winter Soldier?
Winter Soldier or like any other Marvel movie.
his Civil War and
Yeah.
Endgame suits, like
Yeah.
those look great with the headpiece, like
Yeah.
because it actually
It's a strap.
looks like
It's a chin strap. Yeah.
It's not just like a fucking piece of plastic
Right.
or whatever. It's okay. Not every costume can be perfect. It's fine. I get it. So let me get back to my notes here.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yes.
Why does Loki in the beginning of this movie look like he just came back from a fucking 50-year bender?
I mean, was he not like floating around in space for a while until he landed on like some remote place where then he got picked up by Thanos' people?
Okay.
Would you not also be sweaty and like dirty and tired?
Maybe. I guess. Okay. All right.
Not that great of a wig piece in this movie for Loki.
It
Like the
never is.
super crazy long hair.
It never is.
I mean, it looked better in Ragnarok. I thought the Loki hairpiece looked better in Ragnarok. So yes.
I have another note. Something I noticed that Joss Whedon did, which was like cool. I'm glad you like serviced this, but I don't think it was needed. Is that whenever like a lot of Thor characters were on screen, he would do the same thing that they did in Thor 1, which was do the Dutch angles, which is like sideways. I still don't think it added anything here. I don't know why I was.
When they're having the argument where it's just like when Thor's like, "You humans are so funny and tiny." I'm like, "Why are we doing this? Why am I tilting?" Then you had like the one shot where it's like it flipped backwards and stuff. I don't know. It could be represented the Avengers are being turned on their heads or something like this, whatever. So, yeah, there are a lot of great stuff here, and I think what I like kind of how much, even though this movie deals with like an invasion, this movie is actually kind of small if you think out about it. Like this movie is about these 6 people coming together. Well, 5 because Hawkeye doesn't come into later. But these 5 people for most of the movie coming together in like a small space. Like what happens when you put some of the most powerful people in the world in an office space together? What's going to happen? So I thought that was cool. Obviously, from the get-go, you get Steve
Carnage.
and Tony just bam, 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 arguing with one another.
Shout out to Tony and Steve arguing, and Steve being like, "Put on the suit, put on the suit." And then the enemies invade, and he's like, "Put on
Put
the
on
suit."
Yeah,
Put on
okay.
the
Yeah,
suit.
okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to the man playing Galaga.
Yeah.
Thank you for playing Galaga. I hope you got the high score. So I know Christian wants to talk about this.
I do.
So
Oh,
I
I know
know
you're gonna bring it up.
I know that later Marvel trailers get really good. Like the Age of Ultron first trailer with the No Strings on Me, that was awesome. When you got the Infinity War trailers, those are great. Christian, I'm just gonna let you take over, man.
Yeah, people forget how bad movie trailers used to be. We take that for granted because trailers now can be pretty freaking great. Case in point, like Eric says, the Age of Ultron trailers, the freaking Endgame trailers were like some of the best trailers that we've seen in the MCU.
I'm watching
Avengers
this
is
now.
so bad. It likens back to like previous trailers of like the late 2000s, where they would do like rock songs over like montages of scenes, a la I guess Transformers. But the thing is, the Linkin Park songs set like a tone for what these Transformers movies were. Like it kind of worked there. I see what they're going for. In Avengers, it is mad horny, and it just does not fit the tone. I get the lyrics of the song make sense with what is going on in the movie about coming together, right? But other than that, it's just weird. And I encourage everyone to go watch it and be like, yo, I am so glad that trailers have moved on from what they used to be.
This trailer is so weird. Like
Isn't it?
they show off a bunch of shots that are like they're in the movie, but like they're very slow. It's almost as if they put a slow motion
Yes.
effect on this trailer, and it's so
And
weird.
it dropped the frames too.
Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah, yeah, it was a bad trailer. In movies, please, I saw it with the current Venom. Stop putting moody
Yes.
covers of songs in your trailers, please.
It's the
Like
worst.
that was fine for like the first year you started doing it. It was cool. There are some moments I know I've liked some trailers where it had a moody cover of a song. Please stop doing it. It's not great. Put your score in there, please. Like putting the Avengers theme song in the other movies, like is more hype. I
Get
think
some
if you
Hans
want a
Zimmer
trailer.
in there, you know.
Ooh. Something I noticed in the Avengers that was really cool. Speaking of scores, if you remember in Infinity War, whenever Thanos is talking, he has like a theme that goes on, and it's just like a rising. It's just like it's a small drone that's in the background that kind of elevates the tension. If you notice in a lot of these Avengers scenes, they have that when villains are talking, and it's very small and subtle. And like it's almost in the background of whatever score they're using. So if you were to watch Avengers again and you listen for it, you can hear it. And it already setting the stones for Thanos in just the musical way, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah, because I think when you have these superpowered beings, I think all the villains of the Avengers movies have done a good job of bringing that tension. It's like what happens. Loki is just going to be a little thorn in the side of the Avengers. I'm just going to get under their skin just a little bit, and obviously there was tension between them all.
Right.
Ultron, you know what? I'm going to fuck with your heads just a little. I'm going to have Scarlet Witch fuck with your heads just a little bit. That's going to throw you all off. And then Thanos is like, I'm going to destroy every one of you. Yeah, trailer was bad for this movie. I will say also, we finally got a fantastic Hulk in a film. We've waited third time's a charm. Mark Ruffalo, you're fantastic. I immediately forgot about Edward Norton, like in this movie. Like he does a good job, I think, of just living with it. Like the line that obviously stands out in this movie is like, I tried to put a bullet in my head the other day, and the other guy spit it out. Like that was a powerful line, and of course his first Hulk transformation right in front of Natasha
Yeah, man.
was scary. Like that was
Mhm.
absolutely scary.
That's my secret, Cap. I'm always angry.
Oh my god, what a
So
I'm
line!
always
badass.
horny.
So badass.
And
Show King.
so I'm shout out for them finally getting the Hulk right. I think they did a really good job, and of course I want to talk about the final fight scene.
Before we
That
get
was
into
so
that,
cool.
before we
Yeah,
get
what's
into
up,
that,
Ruben?
like there were a couple things in this movie where I haven't seen this movie in a while, and it just dawned on me how crazy things in the MCU have gotten.
Mhm.
Losing is in your nature. Coulson tells that to Loki. I completely
Mhm.
forgot that was a reference to Coulson.
Mhm.
Of course, we already mentioned it. Ashley Johnson, perfect. Let's get her in another MCU movie. You know, the on and off between Nat and Bruce starts, and just put them in a room together. Just
They did, and not many people like that, Ruben.
Yeah.
well, I meant after this movie. Um, Eric, I'm surprised you didn't mention it. The Legolas reference.
I'm getting
We were
to the.
about to.
Okay.
I'm about to get to the
All
fight
right. Okay. All
because
right.
so like for the final, pretty much final. Oh, what's up, Christian?
Yeah, I'll bring up something before the fight too. Then, I finally understand. It finally clicked to me what Coulson was saying in his dying words. R.I.P. Coulson. He says, "This never would have worked if they didn't have something to." And I never knew what he was going to say, and then it finally clicked for me when I was watching it. It's like he's probably gonna something to avenge. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say something to hold on to, but yeah, avenge
Something
works.
to avenge. And I was like, "Fuck, that's awesome."
Yeah.
And then I started thinking about like, oh my god, there's that line like, if we don't save the world, we're gonna make sure, damn sure we're gonna avenge it. Which I don't remember if that's in this movie or not, but like
Yeah,
the
it
Avengers
is.
are
It
cool.
is.
It is. It
Yeah,
is.
the Avengers are so cool,
The
man.
fight scene before the fight scene, we get the awesome scene between Loki and Tony, and
Yeah.
just so many good jokes in there, and like especially when he tries to Mind Stone. Well, Scepter at this
Yeah.
time, Scepter Tony. It's like this usually works. Well, performance issues.
Yeah.
Like it's
Oh
so
my
good. There's
God,
so
so
many.
good.
It's so good.
Terrible, in my opinion.
Oh, I loved it. It was. It's just this usually works well. Like
There's
Tony.
1 in 5. 1 in 5.
there's like 4 bad jokes in this movie, and that's one of them.
Um,
Colby
oh,
Smulders killed it. Maria Hill. God, every
yeah,
time she's on screen is
I thought.
perfection.
I thought she was a good Maria Hill. I typically don't like Maria Hill as a character, but I think she did a really good job in
Yeah.
this movie. Um, uh, but yeah, the fight scene. This was all building to this. What happens when we put the Hulk and Thor like together on something that's not a courtroom, drama from the 80s? Incredible Hulk. Looking at you. So we got it. Like, they're helping all these people, and then Loki is sent in the Chitauri army, and God, it's so good that we get them all teamed up. Hulk comes down, smashes, and then we get the circle shot with just with the Chitauri screaming, the music, Hulk roaring, and then just I find it so funny. Like, we got the Hulk, we got Thor whipping around Mjolnir. Tony is getting ready. Cap is getting the shield ready, and just Nat and Clint are just reloading guns and getting an arrow ready. I'm like, let's go. Um,
Words
so
cannot express how wet I was in 2012 when they had like the one shot following one Avenger and it moves into the other. Like that, you know what scene I'm talking about?
yeah.
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 Probably one of the coolest shots in that
And
movie.
so we just get Cap just leading like he's born to do, and there's just Hulk smash.
Yep.
Yeah, so then just Hulk just goes straight away, and then you get some, in this fight you get a bunch of Marvel Ultimate Alliance shit I saw where like Tony just repulsors the shield, and the beams go off, you go up, better clinch up like a loss, like that was so good. Um, just he's talking about, well, Thor's taking out some people on Fifth Street, and he didn't invite me. And it's just Tony would zoom in, fly, shoot people off, and like Christian said, they cut to Thor and Hulk smashing on top of a dragon, and then Hulk puts in the giant fin or whatever it was, and Thor just hammers it down. Oh, so good, so good.
The only thing I didn't like here is that normally they refer to one another as like their actual names,
Mm.
and I still don't buy when Natasha calls Clint Hawkeye during the scene. I was like, that just didn't feel right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know he's Clint. You know him as Clint. Just call him Clint.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, just so good. Like I remember just watching it, just my eyes were just open the whole time. Just I don't remember blinking. Just like, oh my God, here it is. And especially the part where Cap like comes on the cop car and he's like, all right, we need to get all these people. We need to
He
set up
does
a
what?
He jumps
that's
on like
on-
top of the cop car.
Yeah,
Oh, I
that's not
heard-
what you
okay,
said. No, don't worry about it. We're just gonna
What did I say?
go past through
I'm
it.
sorry.
We're
Keep
just
going.
gonna go-
Keep
yeah.
going. Keep going.
Say,
No, we'll tell you later. We'll tell you
I'll tell
later.
you later. Yeah, I'll tell you later.
oh my god, I don't even remember what I said. What did I say? I need to know.
I'll tell you
No.
after. It's okay. It's cool. You have an important point. I want. Yeah, it's a good. It's a good
So
scene.
he jumps on top of the cop car and then gives them all these orders, and then it's like, why the hell should I listen to you? And he just beats the shit out of some Chitauri, and then the cop at me is like, all right, I need people, and just following. It's like that's what Cap does. I like I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell you what to do. You better listen to me. I'm Captain America. I know what to do. And also a weird thing in this movie, they never mention how they all have earpieces for some reason. I always
Oh
felt
yeah.
Why would you? You know, just
like, it was so weird. It's just Natalia's like, I can do it, and then just Steve out of nowhere, do it. Like, where is this earpiece?
If I'm right, the only time they showed an earpiece was in like Black Widow. It's the only time I remember
Yeah.
seeing one actually put one in.
yeah, because you don't need that to be referenced. That's just a waste of time. You know.
I know it's silly because I see nothing in Steve's ear, and he's just like, do it. Like, it makes sense later on the line when they've been together for a while. Tony has probably invented something where they can talk to each other. But yeah, it was strange. And then Loki is beat up by Hulk. Another big crowd pleasing moment.
Yes.
And then Loki's gone. He gets sent away. The team gets
Or
together.
does he?
Ooh. And so Loki is brought back to Asgard. The team goes away, and we get first mid-credit scene in the MCU so far, and boy, is it a big one.
Yeah.
I remember I'm like, oh, what's happening? What are they gonna do? And then you just see the speaker just talk, and I'm like, who's behind this whole thing? And then when I saw the hand, and I'm like, who is this? And then you just see him turn, and I see the chin. I'm like, oh, that's you! Oh my god! And I remember one person in the theater was like, oh my god, it's Hellboy. And I'm like, oh my god.
What?
No.
And I'm like, oh my god, they're doing Thanos. Oh my god, they're doing Thanos.
I'm not ashamed to admit I knew who Thanos was, but when I saw him on screen, I didn't register Thanos. I didn't identify him as Thanos. I was like, who the fuck is that?
I'm gonna be honest with you. I did not know. Like, I'm a DC guy, so I didn't know anything.
Yeah, it was wild. A lot of people screamed in the theater. Was like, oh my god,
Look at me.
they're about to go do Infinity Saga? Oh my god, because obviously when you see Thanos, like that's the one thing you think of. But yeah, and then we get our shawarma
Ugh.
scene.
I
love that
hate
scene.
that. I
There was-
hate.
It's so good. It's so
I just
good.
love that, like when Tony comes back from the brink of death. I want to try shawarma. I don't know what it is. I've heard about it. I just want to try it.
I
What's
hate
hilarious-
the word
it-
shawarma.
Why?
It's just so ugh. You know, like just grosses me out. Like,
You
I'm
have
sure
to
the
give me
food.
more of a reason why you don't like shawarma or the word shawarma.
It just. It's like one of those words, moist. You know, like when you hear it, you're just like, ugh, you know, like it just grosses
Gotcha.
you out.
So yeah, I think the last point I want to bring up is something we talked about earlier. Obviously, Josh Whedon's name is put to this, and his name will be put to this movie forever, unfortunately, because Josh Whedon, not that great of a dude.
Mm-hmm.
So it just reminded me of a time when when this movie came out, like everyone wanted Joss Whedon to do everything in the MCU because like
Yeah.
it was that time. Because I remember I was like, oh my god, just let him do all the stuff, let him do it. Joss Whedon was between 2012 and probably 2015 just put on the pedestal the most. I would say so, like in pop
Yeah.
culture stuff, because like he did
Yeah.
the Avengers movie and it's like, oh my god, this worked. And then he does stuff with Agents of Shield, which how that turned out. Really,
Pretty good.
who knows? But he had a big stake in the MCU for a long time. Like I think if I remember correctly, he was like one of the creative directors for the MCU. Like he had a bunch of notes. He was a consultant for Phase 2, if I remember. Like all this stuff, all these pieces moving together. And now that I go back and think about it, and like, man, I'm so glad we got the Russo brothers at the helm of a bunch of
Dude.
stuff.
Yeah.
I pray
Because-
they remain unproblematic because the Russos are so good.
Yeah, and so because Because I remember when they announced, like, yeah, the Russos are going to take over Infinity War. I'm like, you're not going to have Joss Whedon for this? And of course, this was before all the shit came out about him. But I'm like, oh my god, well, I hope they do well. Because obviously we just had 2 Avengers movies done by Joss Whedon, but obviously, Age of Ultron critically response withstanding, they made a bunch of money. People went to go see it. So, um, yeah, it's just weird looking back at it now. That just seems like a time capsule, just a long time, even though it's only like 9 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, 9 years is a long time, but yeah, phase 1 is over, and like that era is done. And just like they all felt like such different movies. Like most of the I would say half. There we go. Half of the first phase is really good. Like, Iron Man 1,
Mhm.
Captain America: First Avenger, the Avengers. Half of it's really, really good, and that's the half that. And then the other half, it feels so weird. And then now we're at a state, the MCU, where it just feels like such. It feels like a distant cousin. Phase 1 feels now.
Yeah.
But it was an important founding, because that's what this was. This was the origin of the team. The team got together, and like Christian said at the beginning, it created the most successful franchise probably in a long time. I haven't seen a franchise as successful since Star Wars. Obviously, this movie jump started and made Marvel the pop culture thing.
Yeah.
Like, I would obviously, Star Wars probably more iconic, but I think the biggest, most popular the MCU is like the biggest thing. Like, you can look at numbers and stuff. Like, obviously, the MCU is the most popular, um, probably franchise ever made in film. Like, there's no question about it. And this movie kind of jump started it.
It prints
Um,
money, dude.
So yes, this is our discussion of Avengers. So we do have a Stan Lee cameo to talk about this week.
Before we do that, I do have to mention one thing. Yesterday, we had an argument about how Manhattan wasn't an island. In this movie, Eric, they throw a nuke. Well, they don't throw. They shoot off a nuke to the island of Manhattan. You son of a bitch!
Well,
I knew
it's
I was
not
right.
really. It's not really.
Well,
Where's Josh Whedon from? I don't know if he would know about the.
well, Samuel L. Jackson says island of Manhattan, and
Well, oh, Josh Whedon is from New York.
wow,
Okay, so I don't.
wow,
I don't think it's an island. I think it's a peninsula.
yeah, but I mean, you could be
An
wrong.
island is completely surrounded by water. Ruben, Manhattan is not completely surrounded by water, is it?
I mean, I've heard it both ways.
Surrounded by rats.
Yeah,
Oof.
and subway lines.
Yeah.
So there are 2 Stan Lee cameos in this movie. One was a deleted scene. So
Wait,
I feel
what?
yeah, there's 2 Stan Lee cameos. The one that's in the movie where it's like superheroes in New York, give me a break. And the other deleted scene is when Cap is sitting at the diner, like looking at Beth and stuff, and Stan Lee is like, well, "Go ask for our number, you moron," or something like that. I forget what he says, but he like pushes Cap to go talk to Beth. So we'll just do the theatrical one right now.
Yeah.
Just the Ruben, take it away, my friend.
So, I mean, you kind of already went with it. Stan Lee's cameo here is he says, "Superheroes in New York, give me a break." And he's an old guy playing chess in the park in the news. Where do we want to put this?
I think we should. I think you should talk about the other
Yeah.
cameos right now.
Right, right. So, Stan Lee cameos for number 5 is Iron Man 2 as Larry King. Number 4 is the Incredible Hulk as the old man dying, question mark, from radiation poisoning. Number 3 is Iron Man with the Hugh Hefner reference. Number 2 is Captain America, the first Avenger, the White House Medal of Honor commentator. And
This
number
freaking gnat in my brain.
number
Bothering
1
me.
is unfortunately Thor as the pickup truck guy trying to lift up the hammer.
Why would you say unfortunately? That's a great cameo.
Yeah, but like it's Thor, you know.
You admitted
Oh.
that Thor is better than Hulk.
I had
I
to think
was
about it for a solid minute. Like, what the
coerced.
fuck does he do or say as the White House Medal of Honor commentator? He's like, that's right. He goes, I thought he'd be taller, or whatever.
Should I write that there?
No, I'll just have to remember every single time.
So where do we want to put this?
Eric, you go first.
Let's see. I mean, obviously it's funny because, Stan Lee is saying superheroes in New York, give me a break. But I just really like his ecstatic look he has where it's like, did I get it? After he tries to lift Mjolnir. So
Yeah.
right now, I think I'm going to go 2. I think this one is number 2.
Oof. See, I'm thinking number 4. Because I like it and it's funny, but it's too peripheral in the movie. Like it's the shot of like the panning camera with a bunch of the other stuff. So it's easy. It's not easy to miss, but like it's not foregrounded. And I just like the Hugh Hefner one a bit more than this one. It's
Yeah,
just
but we
fun
didn't get
seeing
him
Stanley as
talking
Hef.
as Hef.
Does that make it better because he says a line,
Yes,
Okay,
it does.
yes, it does.
It does.
Okay, yeah. Okay,
Um,
then I'll go as high as 3 for me.
okay.
Ruben, where are we at?
Unfortunately, I have to side with Eric here. This doesn't take over
I
Thor's.
take it back. I'm going to.
Okay.
This doesn't
It's-
take. This doesn't take over for Thor. Like just seeing him turning back from the pickup truck, asking him, "Did I get it? Did I get it?" Like, come on, that's such a great scene. So it's gonna have to be number 2, Avengers. I have it here. Superheroes in New York.
Give me a break.
Give me a break.
I can't believe I talked myself out of it. First it's 4, then it's 3. No, it's 2.
All right. There we have it. Do I want to go down to the list again?
You can if you want.
All right. Number 1, Thor with pickup truck guy trying to lift up the hammer. Number 2, Avengers, superheroes in New York. Give me a break. Old man playing chess in the park for the news segment. Captain America, the first Avenger, with the White House Medal of Honor commentator who says, "I thought he'd be taller." Number 4, Iron Man with the Hugh Hefner reference. Number 5 is the Incredible Hulk with Stan Lee as the old man dying, question mark, from radiation poisoning. And number 6 is Iron Man 2 as Larry King.
Good list.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, as always, we say here, what good are heroes without some villains? So it's time to rank the MCU villains so far. So we're going to start from the bottom. At number 6, Abomination and Thunderbolt Ross from the Incredible Hulk. Number 5, I Want My Bird, Whiplash / Justin Hammer from Iron Man 2. And number 4, we got Tony Obadiah Stane from Iron Man 1. And number 3, we had the Red Skull
Nice.
from Captain America, the First Avenger. 2, we have Taskmaster / Dreykov from Black Widow. And number 1, we have Loki from Thor. And so I ask you, gentlemen,
I still say
where
we
does
put Taskmaster
Loki...
too high.
What?
I still say we put Taskmaster way too high, but okay.
The Taskmaster... so you think... Okay, you know what? That was for... We decided. Okay?
That was last
It was done.
episode.
It's still like, come on, like
You can make
there's
your
no
own
way.
list.
There's no way.
Taskmaster was a figurative reference to Natasha's past that
Okay.
was coming back to haunt her.
All right, okay.
Okay?
It's just Taskmaster deserves
Taskmaster
better.
was a tool, okay? Used by Dreykov.
It's
And
unfortunate.
a really cool one.
Oh.
Anyway, where does Loki from Avengers stand for you guys?
Number 1, baby.
Easily number 1 for me.
Really?
Yeah, he's the antagonist to every single Avenger in this. To Natasha, most
Yeah.
importantly, to Thor
Yeah,
again.
yeah. But
He's
like,
antagonizing to...
whose fault
he was-
is that though? Like, Thor's an idiot for trying to trust him, and then he gets
That's
stabbed.
his brother.
Yeah, but like, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on.
No, that's the hero quality. You always like try to redeem like the people that you care about, or anyone really, right? And you literally prove later that Loki is a redeemable character. It just took persistence to get there.
Yeah,
and
we
there's
really
that
count
one
that.
scene
We really
when
count that.
there's that scene when Loki tricks Thor into getting into the that metal cage, a steel cage, and Loki opens the bottom of it, and Thor looks down and looks back up, and you see it in his eyes, like, are you really going to do this to me, like your brother? He says that without saying it. You can see the emotion in his eyes, and Loki lets him drop, and it's such a heavy moment for Thor's character. Like, that scene alone is enough to be at least top 2.
So, all right, Ruben, who do you think is higher than Loki and Avengers?
In these movies, as we've
Yeah.
give me one second. I closed the doc by accident.
Because if you're going to argue with me that Loki and Thor is better than Loki and Avengers, that means you would have had to have liked Thor a little bit.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to side with Christian on this. Avengers Loki
Like,
is way better.
Loki in Avengers is easily the best. Like, he's so manipulative.
Yeah, no, he
becomes, like,
definitely
this.
he gets
Yeah.
under everybody's skin, which
Oh my god,
like
this gnat is driving me crazy.
insane.
Yeah, Robinov.
Yeah, I also, for me, Loki and Avengers is number 1 right now.
You're doing it the wrong category.
Oh, Loki, Stan Lee cameo, obviously.
How dare you, sir?
Yeah, right. So Loki and Avengers is our new number 1 villain here on Penultimate Conquest MCU Mondays
Loki.
Initiative,
all this stuff. Loki taking the top 2 right now.
I have one more thing to say about Hawkeye, and he's trying so hard to be cool, and it's just missing the mark.
Hawkeye is a cool guy. Jeremy Renner is the douche.
No, I'm gonna reverse that. Jeremy Renner's the cool guy. Hawkeye's the douche.
He's the corniest dude alive.
Nah, you're crazy.
Hawkeye. When he gets the compound bow out and he just douche.
No, we don't need that. Like the part where
cool.
the part where he just takes an arrow and doesn't even look and just shoots it. Like, come on,
Cool. Like, fade away. Don't even look at that 3-pointer you're making, Hawkeye. Don't even look at it. You know.
You're crazy. Also,
He's
Alan
a
Silvestri.
archer.
No, I don't want to hear it. He
Hawkeye
barely
and
had a
Quicksilver
fucking
gotta be, like,
archer. He barely had a bow and
most-
arrow in the first half of the movie.
Because he was mind controlled.
And that's
He
my
had a
fault?
bunch of other tools.
He took out his compound bow twice, dude. What are you talking about?
He single-handedly destroyed the helicarrier a little bit with just some guys.
I'm not buying it. Okay, I'm not buying it. Alan Silvestri, you're doing God's work out here. Making the greatest theme for a team-up movie man has ever needed, you know?
They hadn't nailed it yet. Like, it was good here, but it wasn't like a proper theme until like it kept coming back in later movies.
No, I think he nailed it in this. I have this downloaded on my phone from Avengers 1.
We know it's a big deal if you have it downloaded on your phone.
That's right.
As we found
Yeah,
out
apparently.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
If
a
you
fan
want to
of
know
this
what we're
one.
talking about, go listen to Stupid in Stereo.
Which
somewhere.
will be up on Wednesday afternoon.
All right.
But, like, every time I hear this song, it just gets me super hyped. I'm sorry.
Right. It was on my running playlist for like right after this movie came out. I always ended my workouts with this one. And I was like, all right, let's take it up another 10 notches for this.
I'm going to be real honest with you. I used to listen to this on every first date I went on.
Nice. Getting
Yeah.
hyped.
Yeah.
During the date or before?
No, before the date. Like,
Is
to
it
get
like
myself
a pre-ritual, like hyping yourself up, or?
to get my self-confidence up, you know? Eventually it worked.
I can appreciate that.
All right. We've ranked the villains and we've ranked the Stan Lee cameos. There's one more ranking left. I don't know why my voice is doing this. Christian, it's time.
That's
for
right,
us.
Eric. We are ranking the movies, of course. Let me recap you our current ranking of the Marvel movies, Phase 1 plus Black Widow. Current ranking goes number 6, The Incredible Hulk. Number 5, Thor. Number 4, Iron Man 2. Number 3, Iron Man. Number 2, Black Widow. And number 1, Captain America, the First Avenger. So I ask you, where does Avengers rank for you? Oh, you guys are both saying 1? Y'all are fucking nuts, dude. This is like number
Fucking
4 at
nuts.
best.
You're crazy.
Already got outvoted, but it's number 4 at best.
You're
Like-
crazy.
Okay. All right. I would like to hear why it's number 4.
Minute to minute, Captain America, Black Widow, and Iron Man are a better crafted movie than Avengers. The highs in Avengers are very high. They're the most iconic we've seen in the MCU. Yes, I will concede that. They're like, I would say maybe it'll go as high as like 2 or 3. Like who knows? But as like a movie, like again, those first 40 minutes drag. The pacing just isn't there. Some of the writing is questionable. Not as strong as it is in Iron Man. Certainly not as strong as it is in Captain America. So I for those reasons, I can't rank it any higher than that, even though it is a great movie.
Let me say one thing.
Mm-hmm.
There was a little well-known guy called Zack Snyder who tried to do a similar thing with a superhero team-up movie, and it didn't work so well. You know, there was a bunch of messy stuff. Like it just wasn't that great of a movie. But this right here, this fucking movie right here, is a really good ass movie.
Are we
Okay?
basing?
What does that have to do with?
I don't know. I don't know.
I haven't started my DC show yet, so we can't.
Whoa. Spoilers.
So anyway, okay, look, I see what Christian is saying, but for like me personally, the third act of Iron Man is
That's
way
fair.
weaker than the first act of this movie.
Yeah.
Because like it was, and then like the final act of Captain America, while it needed to be like this big bombastic, all right, let's go stop Red Skull. There were some moments where like you kind of lost the character a little bit, all the characters, because you're having to do all this crazy action flying stuff. And then Black Widow, I think there were some moments in Black Widow where it's just like, okay, dragging just a little bit. But I think for this movie, the highs just outweigh them all. Like the highs of when they're all together and when they're arguing and when they're fighting together. Um, it it's really the best. It doesn't really become great until they kind of get on the helicarrier. Like it started to get really good when Cap and Tony team up to take down Loki in Germany, and then the forest fight. The forest fight was really cool. I forgot to mention that the forest fight was really cool. Just like give like, oh shit, he hit the shield with Mjolnir. What was going to happen there? But when they start getting on the ship together, that's when this movie just really freaking takes off. And
Christian, I
I
understood
think
that
for me
reference.
also, look, the Avengers right now are still in my top 10 MCU movies. It's the fact that they did it, the fact that it worked, the fact that all of these big time characters, superheroes meshed together and it worked really well. I think that's why it stands the test of time for me, 9 years, because it did work. Like, obviously, we've gotten better Avengers movies since then, but it worked and we got this wonderful thing we have the MCU now. So that's why it's number one for me so far, is because it worked. It
Well, I don't know. Like you make some great points, but I personally I don't think Legacy is enough to elevate it. But I do really like that you brought up like the third act in this movie is better than
First act
third
of this movie is better than
the
Iron
the
Man
the
1.
first
the first
this
act,
movie is better than the third act of
Yes.
Iron Man.
yeah, and that like I have to agree with you there. Like
So.
you're absolutely right there. I don't know. What did Ruben have to say earlier? I saw him talking.
Oh yeah, I just said, Christian, I understood that reference. Like, come on.
I just want to know why he
Greatest
made
meme
my.
of all time.
It was really good. I
Yeah.
did enjoy that one.
No, but seriously,
It's
Eric,
not-
like, wrap this up perfectly. Like, this movie is, for what it starts, is, like, incredible. I didn't think they would be able to pull it off, but they did.
And like that speaks to, I think, how well. I don't want to say how well they worked on this movie, because obviously, you give your 100% for movies typically, but it could have been a train wreck. You could have had, obviously you have this big ego of, Thor and Iron Man, and that kind of worked well when they're talking to one another. Like, what happens when you get some of these alphas in a room, and then you get, nice guy Captain Rogers, and then you get a guy who has a really big anger issue, and then you get a super spy that can't be trusted or doesn't trust anybody, and so.
I actually kind of liked in this movie that like the character of Steve Rogers was like interrogated in some capacity by Tony, He's like, look, you're like following Shield blindly, and why? Like for what? Like these guys are like kind of the bad guys to some degree, and like Captain America comes around on that, so that I really did enjoy. I'm just talking the
Yeah,
Avengers
the
up
computer
now.
was a
Like,
little slow, so I thought I did some digging on my
yeah.
own. So
All right, so it sounds like we've got our new ranking. To recap you, the current ranking goes as follows: number 7, The Incredible Hulk; number 6, Thor; number 5, Iron Man 2; number 4, Iron Man; number 3, Black Widow; number 2, Captain America: The First Avenger; and number 1, Marvel's The Avengers.
yep, that's a solid list. And so with that, we are at the end of phase one, everyone. Phase one is done. We are now entering when Marvel really starts to get a little runner sprint going and just like taking the top spot of being everyone's favorite pop culture thing. Because we got a lot of great movies coming up.
Oh yeah.
Like
And
Thor: The Dark World.
and Thor: The Dark World. We got
Ugh.
that coming up too. So obviously for me, like the Avengers won't be here for long at number one because there's a movie coming up in about 3 weeks.
We'll
Well,
see. We'll see.
three of these
No,
episodes
no
I
future
think is
spoilers.
number one over it. So either way, so everyone, hey, thanks for tuning in here. Next week we will be discussing one of the most controversial MCU movies. Diverse, divisive. I tripped up on my words there. One of the most divisive MCU films with Iron Man 3.
Fuck yeah!
Iron Man 3 is next week, hosted by Ruben, and I know he's very excited about that one.
It's the greatest Iron Man movie we ever had.
So really excited for that one. So it is time to do some plugs. Christian, I'm going to start with you.
Oh yeah, thank you. You can follow me over at ISO Christian, where I do a lot of shit posting, but I also talk about a lot of the video games that I'm playing mostly. If you want to hear my movie takes, I have a movie podcast called Large Popcorn. You can follow as well. Some cool episodes coming your way over there.
Found out something controversial, Ruben. He only gets small popcorns when he goes to the movie.
Unbelievable.
So
Why would you bring that up?
hey,
It's crazy.
it's just
You know.
right.
Yeah,
Get whatever snacks you want at the movies, everyone.
as long
Except
as the rest
for
here.
yeah,
Except for Junior Mints, and,
fucking
gummy
Twizzlers.
candies.
Like get this
Yeah,
shit out of here.
that's either way. Ryan put up a great point. That's the straw thing. Is why. All right. So anyway, Ruben, give us some plugs, man.
You could find me at that guy Tuesday on Twitter, Instagram. You could find me on streaming this week, Flight Simulator. Maybe some Halo, maybe some
Halo 4 multiplayer.
Halo
Maybe?
4 multiplayer. Let's see. I will be playing The Ascent as well this week. It's a busy week, busy week. On the channel, the penultimate, twitch.tv/penultimate conquest, and just to clarify, we will probably be doing. How are we doing? What if? Are we doing that? Waiting till the end of What If? Are we recapping that on a weekly basis? I figured since it's 30 minutes, we probably like hold it off to the end.
Think.
Because if
That's a good
so,
point.
that bumps up Iron Man.
That's a good point. Let's discuss that off
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Off air.
off stream. Yeah.
But also, one last thing, Eric,
Oh
where
my God,
can we find you?
You could find me at Eric C again on Twitter. Stuff's happening. Really, I'm building a crib this week, so I'm very excited
Ooh.
about that. We got some shelves in the living room to put up some new stuff, so I can finally take some of these books and all these boxes in here, and I can finally move it around. Really excited to do that. But yeah. So anyway, that's all we got here this week on MCU in review / Marvel Monday initiative. So
We
many
can't take
M's.
it.
So many M's we got. So anyway, from all of us here at the Marvel Mondays initiative and the Penultimate Conquest, I hope you have a wonderful day, wonderful week, and as always, Excelsior.
But guys, what if Paramount did another Avengers movie?